Hey everybody, this is John Oates here, and these are my Marquee memories. One of my earliest memories was going to a local amusement park outside of Philadelphia called Willow Grove Amusement Park, and I was probably 4 or 5 years old. I wanted to go on the rides, but in the little band shell, a early rockabilly group called Bill Haley and his Comets were performing, and I had never heard live music before. I remember running down to the front of the little band shell, and the stage was probably only about 3 feet high, and I was mesmerized by this rockabilly band who had this huge hit called Rock Around the Clock. The most important memory was above and beyond the music. The bass player, who was playing a big upright bass, he put it on its side and he rode it like a horse. As a little kid, that's all I needed to see. I was hooked and I was in. In the 1960s, there was basically a thing called the folk revival, where a lot of traditional musicians were being rediscovered on college campuses around America. I was in Philadelphia at the time, and the Philadelphia Folk Festival had started around that time. I got to see some of the great performers in the early days. Pete Seeger, Joan Baez, Tom Paxton, Phil Oakes, and one of my favorites, a guy named Doc Watson, who was without a doubt one of the greatest not only fingerstyle but flat picker guitar players of all time. And he was absolutely mesmerizing. And I tried to learn all his songs. I studied his first album. I learned how to finger pick like him. I learned how to flat pick like him. And in fact, later on, he was playing at a place called the Main Point in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia. And I went there and went down in the basement of the coffee house and got to play a little bit with him. And that was a thrill of my life. It was really an amazing moment that I'll never forget. I usually open my solo shows by playing a Doc Watson song, and one of the things I like to say is, Doc, if you're up there, I hope you're not listening too closely. In the mid-'60s, I was a huge fan of the R&B and soul music that was happening during that period of time. And I really loved the Temptations. In late 1967, early 1968, I met a guy named Daryl Hall. His favorite group was the Temptations. I had a group which was falling apart at the time. Daryl had a group which was kind of falling apart. Daryl said to me, he said, let's go to the Apollo Theater and we'll see the Temps. And Daryl had met them before and was friends with Paul Williams, one of the singers of the Temptations. So we went there up to Harlem, and we went backstage, hung out in the dressing room with the Temptations. I remember seeing David Ruffin on the steps as we walked in through the backstage entrance smoking a cigarette. He was a very imposing figure with his black glasses that he wore. It was like his trademark. And then we went and sat in the first row of the Apollo Theater and watched the Temptations, the original group, do their thing. Their choreography, their harmony, they represented the epitome of what a R&B vocal group should be. I have to say I was pretty impressed with Mr. Daryl Hall at that point. I think what it did was cemented our friendship and led to our partnership, which, we did okay. Yeah, sure. I'll thank the Temptations for creating Hall & Oates. Why not? Thanks for watching my Marquee memories, and catch me on tour and make some memories of your own.